Hello and welcome to Mortech's Partnership Spotlight series. This is the very first series or very first segment of the series that we're completing. And my name is Mike Russell. I'm the Partner Relationship Manager here at Mortech, specifically for marketplaces. And I have a very special guest today. I have Andy Taylor, General Manager of Credit Karma Home, on the line with me. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor to be a part of like the first inaugural run of this.
Yeah, no, it's we kicked it off with a bang for sure. So so what I'd kind of like to do today is just kind of talk about how our partnerships developed over the past few years, where it's potentially going, how you utilize our products. So give me a little bit of an overview of your responsibilities at Credit Karma Home, how the Mortech product is utilized from your side.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're called Credit Karma Home. We used to be called Credit Karma Mortgage, but the idea is that the home is encapsulates a variety of different aspects of one's financial life. It could be something that you're renting, it could be something that you owned, it could be something that you're owned and are selling. And so really the whole idea here is that we're trying to guide our members through a pretty complicated, frustrating process of buying or refinancing a home. And since we end up working with our members months and years before that big purchase, from buying a car, doing taxes, you name it, across the Credit Karma ecosystem, you know, uh, we're basically making real-time offers based on like that deep member insights that others don't necessarily have. So we're not trying to get you on the site and then off the site as quickly as possible so that 5 people can call you all simultaneously. We're trying to match our members with financial products that actually make sense. And those relationships that we built over the years, really at scale enables us to leverage that information to save in a refinance situation. So just to give you an example, for example, we've got this home buying power system that allows you, a member, to have a real insight into exactly how much home they might be able to buy. And it turns out that we've actually helped over 6 million members figure that out. And that's just kind of like the tip of the iceberg. So really, depending on that member's situation, where they are in the home buying journey, we can recommend everything from like real estate agents. We can get them a pre-qualification letter, and then most certainly we can get them in front of our partners who are looking to help them finance the purchase of the new home or refinance their existing home.
Yeah, and you touched on a couple pretty important things there. So, you kind of talked about your different products, right? So the home buying tool and how you've helped 6 million members there. But then, of course, you've got several different products to where you deliver that value to your members. What are different products at Credit Karma Home to where you are connecting those whether they're buying their first home or refinancing their current mortgage? What are some of the different products that are utilized to connect those users with the lender partners?
For example, there are any number of different surfaces that are out there. For example, we've got Stories. Stories is sort of a real-time feed that exists within the Credit Karma product. It allows people to have like a good sense for well, what are some existing options that they might have that are available to them. So Stories is one example. Email marketing is another way that we're able to reach people. So it turns out that if you have like a hard inquiry for the purposes of getting a mortgage, it's a good idea to shop around. And so we'll reach out to you proactively via email. There's any number of different kind of hooks that exist within the Credit Karma ecosystem that allow someone to explore the various options that are available to them.
Now, what I want to kind of shift to real quick is how Credit Karma Home has utilized Mortech services to help, expand that product offering, right? And again, all focused on the end user experience to enhance that. So the Rate Cloud product is what Credit Karma Homes uses, and the Rate Cloud product is our API that is specifically built for marketplaces to where we can handle significant amounts of volume and return those offers directly from the lenders extremely fast. So tell me how Rate Cloud has been put into these products and kind of what the benefit of having the offers from the lenders directly is displayed to the end user.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, most of those places I was just talking about, those product surfaces, the stories feed, the home hub, pre-qual letters, real-time email offers, those are all places where that are more tech rate cloud powered. Basically anywhere where you're going to see like a mortgage offer. And that's because Mortech, really is the tool that many of our partners are already using internally. And Rate Cloud acts as that real-time conduit from their own back offices to our Credit Karma members. And so we're able to put those real-time offers in front of them just in time based on their individual criteria. And that's like super important because what you don't want is a bunch of teaser rates. You want real live rates. I want to be able to show a member, hey, Andy Taylor, you qualify for this particular mortgage because of your financial situation and what you're looking for in real time.
Yeah, no, that's exactly, the real time piece, I think doesn't get quite of much, I guess, value that it deserves, right? Is because, lenders, so if we pivot to the lender side, lenders want to, be transparent, and they want to be accurate, and they want to, when they get the borrower on the phone, they want to be quoting the same thing when they're talking with the loan officer that they are when it's being displayed on any one of Credit Karma Home's products. So that kind of brings me to that side is how has that deepened or helped encourage the lender participation on any one of the products? How has Mortech's product helped either build the lender's business or even bring more lender adoption, and really want to be on the Credit Karma platform?
Well, I mean, I think that many of our partners love to be on the Credit Karma platform because we're trying to make those one-to-one matches. We want people to go out. We want our lenders to find a member. We want them to go out on a date, have dinner, and make that match and have it stick. We want them to
Mhm.
get married. And we don't want to necessarily have this be, the bachelor or bachelorette where they're dating multiple people. And so in order to have that kind of one-to-one relationship, we need to make sure that it's a good match and that it's a real offer, and we judge our success based on the ability to get that member to a partner and actually have that be consummated and have that be something that actually sticks rather than just a teaser rate that's going to go out that maybe they get that loan, maybe they get some other loan that loan officer feels is better for it.
Yeah.
And so the other sort of aspect, obviously, of our partners is they want to be connected to our 100 million members. Now we got 100 million members, 50% of the U.S. millennial population. We've got some real people who are trying to buy homes, and so by connecting them in real time again to real life offers, not teaser offers, then that expands their book of business pretty considerably.
Yeah. Well, and you also mentioned the email marketing campaigns, where, based on, where a user of 100 million users, if one of them is doing certain things and where they're at in their cycle, their financial cycle, hey, it might make sense for you to connect with this lender, because they have extremely competitive rates. Rates are all-time low, right? So that's also something that I find very interesting, from the Credit Karma Homes use case, is where you are actively seeking borrowers to connect with these lenders.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, it's not that we're necessarily actively seeking them. They're on our site, using Credit Karma, already to make the best of their own financial situations. Like they're turning to us to basically understand those aspects of their financial lives that are otherwise like kind of complicated and opaque, and every recommendation we make, the advice we give, the tool or product we put forward, really ultimately helps them take control of those finances and make progress towards their financial goals. And so, one way of delivering this transparency and comprehensiveness is through a platform experience that lets them digest and compare those loan details, and we actually think that full transparency, showing the options that are available, is like super hyper important. And long story short, like if you're refinancing, the rate is critical. If you're buying, the rate and other loan aspects matter critically. And nobody wants to answer a bunch of teaser questions without any actual payoff and have their phone explode with LOs calling them while they're trying to eat dinner. So marrying that transparency with the knowledge that we equip them with, like what an APR is and why it's important to pay attention to various aspects when shopping for a loan, that empowers them to shop around instead of moving forward with that first lender that they engage with.
Yeah, that brings up something else that's very interesting is, not just on the result, the offer itself, like this is what a rate means, and this is what an APR means, and this is what the breakdown in your monthly payment, but even about how to get that offer, what's going to be your loan amount, where are you located, right? If you're in, Los Angeles County, California, that's a lot different than Lancaster County, Nebraska, where we are, right? So the ability to also be able to send those data fields to Mortech, I could imagine, those are the types of things that have a significant effect on the rate. So having the ability to also, get that borrower detail to get that accurate offer is obviously likely just as important as them getting the accurate rate and APR.
Absolutely. I mean, every different type of loan is dependent on, it's dependent on the county that you're in. What's the conforming loan limit? It's dependent on like your credit band. It's dependent on like so many different variables that go into it. Being able to show that to a member so that they don't necessarily just have to call everyone on the yellow pages is pretty critical. And it's especially critical at a time when like you can't physically go out and actually see homes. When you're stuck inside, you're physically quarantining. Being able to do that online in real time from the comfort of your couch at 2 a.m. if you want. That's a critically important distinction.
And that leads me into, let me level set here. And, we are recording this in June of 2020. Very interesting times, right? And the world we live in. And so to your point about how, I can stay home and I can provide my information and I can get live accurate rates and mortgage offers from, lenders out there who are wanting my business. How important is the online shopping space, but then even down funnel into the, connecting them with lenders digitally and completing that process, not just on the mortgage side, but on the homes, the home buying process altogether?
Yeah, I think that the interesting aspect of 2020 and, what we've been seeing is that, this pandemic is really forcing a lot of, really long overdue digital innovation in the mortgage and, housing space, prop tech just in general. And I've been going to the Inman conferences, the digital mortgage conference, all the trade shows since they really first started. And I always came away with the sense that many of the lenders there were just there for the free hors d'oeuvres and happy hours, and they're just giving it lip service. And now really seems to be different. Redfin was saying that virtual tours are up something like 42% month over month. That might even have been week over week, to be honest. But we're really seeing record interest in the shopping experience itself. And I think that many lenders are finally waking up to the fact that this is truly a sink or swim moment, that they have to adopt digital technology to be able to compete. They can't physically have retail operations open. And so as a result, consumers are also finally waking up to the fact that there's a better way to shop for a home loan. Calling people on the yellow pages, physically walking into corner stores or corner offices just doesn't make any sense. And once those consumers are in control, when they understand where they stand, where they're finally seeing real life offers rather than teaser rates, they're going to feel empowered in the process, and that's an important thing for everyone.
And I think we already had, with the generation that's now buying their first homes or maybe even refinancing their first homes, you already had that kind of space of people who are going to do their research, who are going to go out and shop their lenders. But I think, what's happened with the quarantine and all that is that's kind of been expedited a little bit and bled out into other generations. So I think, folks like Credit Karma Homes and Mortech and having some of that technology there already has been very beneficial. And I think you would probably agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, one of the unexpected benefits that we've seen in integrating with Mortech and RateCloud is just how easy it's been to onboard new partners into the ecosystem. Yeah, it means that we as a company have already vetted the technology. It's part of our approved vendor list. So if you are already an outfit that's integrated with Mortech, you're a lender and you're using it day to day, we can have you up and onboarded nearly as quickly as we can sign an agreement. So it essentially acts as the common language that we can all speak. It means that our partners don't have to change the processes or do a lot of technical heavy lifting to be exposed to our hundreds of millions of members. And that's critically important in a world where we're trying to constantly bring the best partners, bring the best financial products to light and in front of our members.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up a great point about, when Credit Karma has a new lender partner, I think the hardest part's probably, or the longest part is probably just getting the agreement in place. I can click a few buttons and you guys can get offers, that day, right? So that is absolutely beneficial and helps make sure at the end of the day, when you are looking to get a lender connected with a borrower, it happens very quickly. Now, so, we've kind of talked about the last few months, alluded a little bit to where we were going. What does the next 12 months look like? What are kind of thoughts around, obviously we think we're going to continue down this digital mortgage path, but what does the next, 6 to 12 months look like for Credit Karma Home? And where does Mortech fit in and how do we help?
Well, I can't give you the secret plans. I keep them here in my attaché case
I wouldn't expect
right next to me.
less, yeah.
But basically, we know that this trend towards continued digitization in the mortgage space is just going to continue. If anything, it's accelerating, and we know that now more than ever, especially given the macroeconomic conditions that we're in, especially given the way that the real estate market's shaping up, here again in June 2020. Our members are going to need the guidance when it comes to navigating that home buying experience. And COVID-19 has disrupted what it means to own a home for many Americans. And so, given the fact that we've got the scale, it's unmatched, and we've got these deep relationships that we've built with our members over the years that have been using Credit Karma. That's really what enables us to make those connections that have our members' best interest in mind and pose less risk for our lending partners as well, because we can make that one-to-one match where we're more certain of the connections that we're making. So we're just continuing to make inroads on our promise to serve as the go-to digital destination for our members' home buying and home owning journeys. We're trying to remove friction wherever we can through a really, really streamlined experience. We're trying to provide some level of certainty that the products that they're seeing, they'll be able to actually connect with and they'll be able to actually realize. And we're just trying to do that in a truly seamless digital experience that's both mobile, it's on the desktop, it basically bridges that online offline gap.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I tell you, I really look forward to seeing it. It's going to be interesting, but I think that, places like Credit Karma Home are really positioned to continue down that path of digital mortgage, and excited to continue our partnership and work together closely with you. But, I want to just final thoughts from you and we'll wrap this up. And again, I really appreciate it, but any other final thoughts that you can leave us with?
I would say that if you can leverage technology in a way that puts the consumer first, that puts the member first, that it tries to provide that level of certainty and transparency and ease of use, then it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You're going to improve their lives. And that's just a really good, noble goal that we should all be pursuing.
Appreciate it again. Once again, I'm Mike Russell. This is the Mortech Partnership Spotlight with GM of Credit Karma Home, Andy Taylor.
Hey, really appreciate it. Thanks for the time.